Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am so excited for today's episode and our incredible guest. Before we dive in, I did want to offer a quick trigger warning. This episode includes discussion of suicide. So if that's not something you're up for today, that is totally fine. Please take care of yourself and feel free to come back when you're ready. And if you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of self-harm, you can reach out for support by calling or texting 988 to connect with the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They are available 24/7. Okay, I love you all. I'm sending hugs, and let's get into it. Oh my gosh. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm your host, Hannah Aaron Brown, and today I'm joined by a new and dear friend of the pod and your new favorite DJ. His super cunty, bratty remixes have been taking the internet by storm across Instagram, TikTok, and SoundCloud, so much so that they've been used by your favorite artists, including but not limited to Rebecca Black and Mariah Carey. So basically, he's in a full place of world domination and has graciously taken the time to chat with us today. Everyone, welcome Eulonzo to the pod.
Hello all. Yes, it's me in the flesh.
Oh my gosh. I'm so honored to have you here. First of all, before we get into everything that is you, which I'm so excited about, can we just explain how we became internet friends?
Yes, the lovely world of TikTok. So it's funny, when TikTok got banned and then unbanned earlier this year, it was kind of like a turning point for, I'd say, a lot of people. There have been a lot of turning points in the world where it's really pushed us to kind of tap in to our higher self, whether it's the pandemic in 2020, 5 years ago, and many other things. And so I just started posting a bunch of just meme content, the caption stuff. I mean, y'all know with the hot girl herself. So I was just like, let me just do this. I'm a very funny, colorful person. And I was ending up getting 1 million to 2 million views. And I was like, okay, context. I've been on the internet since 2006. So from 10 years old, when I made my first MySpace, sorry, mother, I basically always known how to navigate the algorithm and all that. So I was like, okay, I'm getting 1 million views, 2 million. I'll just keep this up for a little bit and just see. And if I flop at one point, then, oh, well, at least I tried, because to me, I'm always about, how do you know if you don't try? So by March to April, I was like, okay, I'm getting 10,000 followers at this point. This is kind of okay, clearly we're getting somewhere. I think it's time I need to push the music on them. So that's basically what I was doing. I was doing a lot of Charlie, bratty type of cunty remixes. And a lot of my friends were like, why the hell are you not dropping this? What are you doing? And especially with how much Brat was so big last year. So I was like, okay, I'll put out the 365 remix, the Mean Girls remix, and all the other stuff I've done. Little did I know the power of TikTok and how much that can really shape and alter your career in so many ways. Obviously, it doesn't make your career, because to me, what makes your career is what you do after all this stuff happens.
So
no one's
true.
going to hold your hand. So, I released the Mean Girls remix, and then all of a sudden I see some hot girl named Hannah Brown. Not that Hannah Brown, by the way. not that Hannah Brown. This is the real Hannah Brown, by the way. Just saying. We won't talk about that. But I saw that Mean Girls. I was like, who is this? And then I got into this deep dive of the hot girl playlist that you got. And I was like, okay, this is my people. Clearly.
Well, you were always like, once we started talking on the internet, I was looking through my saved sounds on TikTok, and there are so many of your remixes because they just elicit this cunty, sexy, hot girl vibe, 365 party girl, all the things that I crave in music, and especially in a TikTok sound. And so I was so just honored and excited that you were so open and friendly and willing to chat and supportive. And this has just been the biggest gift.
Yes, literally. And it's funny because so much about you and the Hot Girl brand is almost like the theme of what my remixes are about. Just to me, it's an attitude. People always hear the words hot girl or brat or this or that, and they think it too literal, but I go, no, it's a mindset, you know,
Say
as long as
that.
you know what I mean? So it's just like that to me is why I love that we connected in this way, especially through the queen, Charlie, you know?
Come on. I think this is what Charlie would want for us. I think she would be very pleased with our friendship. And I honestly think she would want in on this.
Yes. And, you know, to get the attention from her team and people around her world, that's been unbelievable too. Because me being
So
29
cool.
years old and growing up around all of that music, Britney, Kesha, all of that, like that's my era in sync, you understand?
Yes.
Um, you know, and so I know what Charlie's gone through. I know what a lot of these girls and guys, as far as I'm concerned, have gone through to
Hmm.
just plug away for decades and then finally get that big break, you know, albeit close to your 20s to 30s, you know what I mean? But to me, it's just a testament to it's never too late. It's really never
Never.
too late as long as you got that drive inside and you don't let go of that, you know?
Exactly. That's no, it's so inspiring. Like, and there are clips of Charlie talking about how she's like, yeah, people have been like, oh, you finally made it. And it's like, but hadn't I made it already? Like, she similarly was doing just like silent reps in the dark for years and years. And then I feel like Brat made her really mainstream, but like, she's been in this. So I do feel like y'all are kindred spirits. What has like, so you've been making music for so long. You've been on the internet since 2006. Now you have this momentum and this recognition happening. What has it been like for you?
It has been beyond surreal, just as someone that has just been plugging away all of these years and has been writing for people, producing for people. I've done a lot of songs for people in the dark, behind the
Hmm.
scenes, some credited, some uncredited. And this is all on the strength of how much I just love music. You know, growing
Yeah,
up with just two people, my mom, my dad. I was not really a family person. I'm that the F word is not really something that's completely relatable to me.
hmm.
So often when you grow up like that, you build your own world, whether it's with music or even with sports. There's so many other things that we invest in as we're getting older, and it
Hmm.
just becomes our calling card. My calling card has just always been music.
Hmm.
In 2010, me and my friend Kenny, shout out to him, we started DJing basically at like age 14,
Oh,
15, because we were literally obsessed with Kesha and Britney, Katy Perry. He was more Katy Perry than me, just to be
uh-huh.
honest. And so, you know, it's to me that type of music, like EDM, country, brat music, like that's always been my thing. My heart and soul, of course, is 80s music, which, you know, given who's on my
Hello.
chest right now, the
Hello.
king. But
Hello. The king of pop.
to me, music is music. And I feel like there's so many friendships and relationships that can be created through that realm.
Yeah.
Um, and I just, yeah, I mean, it's almost hard to believe I've been doing it this long and I'm not even 30 yet, but
It's
it's just,
incredible.
it's honestly wild. It's hard to believe.
And I do feel like with anything, creative or not, it's like when you are in that like flow state, the time, whether it's years or minutes, really does fly by where you're just like,
Yes.
yeah, maybe I'm not like I'm speaking for myself here. It's like maybe I'm not making a living doing this yet, but it's like I wouldn't want to spend my time or energy doing anything else. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep plugging away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just keep doing it. And, you know, as long as your muse is, you know, fulfilled, that's all that matters to me. You know, to me, my favorite artist, whether it's Prince, whether it's Michael, those people didn't really care about the outside world like that. They paid
Totally.
attention to the outside world. To me, you can't stay too wrapped up in your own world.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are you going to know what's going on, current events, entertainment, things like that? But it's always good to just focus on your own muse and your own world. Otherwise, you're going to start acting or sounding like other people. You know, it's
So
very
true.
important.
I mean, going back to Katy Perry, like something that I clocked about her pretty recently, I could never figure out like what it was about. Like once she chopped her hair off and dyed it blonde, since then, like when she started sort of pivoting into like cringe territory. And I do think it's because she was waiting for people to tell her what was cool and what was good
Mm,
instead of being her own muse and being like, this is what I want to be doing. And I do think creatively it can get really easy to get in your head and be like, well, this is what people want. So I'm just going to do this. And you really do lose a lot of what makes you special as an artist. And
yeah.
people can tell, like, people can tell when you're, you know, aligned in your own creative self and when you're not.
Yeah. And to me, like, that's the beauty for me with what I've been doing is like, I'm not doing Charlie remixes because, oh, it's trendy. I'm a club boy. I go to clubs like every other
Totally.
weekend.
Totally.
I am that party boy. I'm 365 party boy. That's basically what I am,
Hello.
more or less. And I think
Yeah.
the remixes reflect that, for better or worse. And so me and my best friend Bree, who I'm sure she's listening and is probably crying,
Oh,
uh she has been my best friend since we were 13, 14. Me, her, and our departed friend Ashley. We reconnected, what was it, a little over a year ago, around this time too.
wow.
um and she was just like, you want to just start going to like clubs and like going to shows? And I was like, fuck it, why not? I have the money.
Yeah.
I'm not the type that likes to go out too much. And so they had a Charlie party in November, and I was like, I have to freaking go. And she was like, you have to freaking go. I don't even listen to Charlie, but I'll go if you're going. And so we went and just frat flicking the whole night, just like I am in my videos. I was just
Yes.
going insane. And of course, like 10 people walked up to me after the show being like, oh my God, who are you? That tends to happen a lot, to be
Star
honest.
power. It's star power.
Because even though I'm shy as hell publicly, once there's music on, like, you can't get me to not be feral. Okay. Just saying,
Totally.
honey.
I love it.
And so going to those shows really kind of planted this seed in my brain, being like, I think this is like the phase I need to enter in, because this kind of music has been around me for so much of my life
Hmm.
that it's just, and how long I've been doing this, there's no other time than now. It's not like I'm in my 80s and
Right.
cannot do it or whatever. I'm still young. I still have the ability. And it took a lot of ego to put aside, and a lot of fear, a lot of nervousness.
Yep.
Because as confident as I am, you never know what people are going to enjoy until you just put it out. And I guess here I am.
Isn't that true? And we all love it. I love it. Everyone loves it. I mean, I think it is so amazing how music, to your point, like really does create community, whether it's on TikTok or in person at a club. Like I really think you could know nothing about somebody, but if you both love the same artist,
Correct.
you suddenly have this common language that you speak. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, especially in a time where like I feel like post COVID, I feel like I can say I feel like things have felt a little more isolated. And I feel like, people getting together has never or hasn't fully bounced back yet, even like the
Yeah.
5 years since lockdown. And I think music brings us together no matter where we are, which is incredible.
Yeah, that I could go all day about that,
Yep.
because a lot of these kids on TikTok, I know that they were alive when COVID happened, but they don't
Right.
really understand the magnitude of
Oh,
how life has been for so much of us who are old enough to feel it, from 2019 to after then. Like, it's almost like a fever dream. It's funny how so many people go, we're in a stimulation. And I used to cringe at that,
yeah,
but I'm like, it's true. We really are,
it
in so
does.
many
It
ways.
feels like Black Mirror. If someone were new to your music, is there like an ideal setting or like way in which you would want them to like listen to it? Like would your first wish for someone new to your music be to like listen to it driving in the car or like pre-gaming before going out or like at a club or alone in their room? Like,
Hmm.
or do you not have a preference?
Um, it's funny because weirdly enough, I do and don't have a preference. I feel like my material would be very interesting to listen to when you're all alone in your room,
Yeah.
you know, especially because I don't have too much slow material out there. I don't know how to make sad, slow music.
I don't know how to
Despite,
listen to sad, slow music at all.
thank you, girl. Like, to me, as traumatic as my life has been, I went through homelessness, eviction, house fires, and yet throughout all of that, I still don't know how to just make that like I broke my heart type of music.
Totally.
It's not who I am. Like, with all that I've gone through silently or publicly, I just always know how to make upbeat music.
Hmm.
So like for me, hearing it in the car or going out for a hot girl walk, or
Mm.
even like just, or obviously the club. Like, to me, hearing my stuff in the club has been kind of the most surreal thing about it. Like,
Ah,
that is like, that's almost movie type of feeling, because I'm someone that the moment I hear applause by Lady Gaga, or We Are Who We Are. Like I go crazy over that. And
Same.
to think that there are people that do that to my stuff, remix or
Yes.
not, it's almost hard to believe. It really is.
Including like Rebecca Black and Mariah Carey.
Shout out to Rebecca Black, by the way,
She's a real one.
because she's a lurker. I'm sure she's listening.
Oh my gosh, Rebecca Black, what is up? It's Friday, Friday. Actually, this is going to come out on a Wednesday, but she's so much more than that song. By the way, okay, so that's actually a good natural segue. So you've recently been noticed by some huge artists. Can you tell us a little more about that and what it's been like for you?
Yes, that has been quite the journey from Addison Rae to
Ah,
Charlie XCX herself, which to me, that was kind of the biggest honor because so much of my material is connected to her without
right.
meaning to. I mean, it's just how it is. You know, a lot of my friends do a lot of the same music as her. Um, Kesha, the fact that I made Kesha say, "Oh my God" to my shit is crazy. That's like Aretha Franklin telling a 10-year-old girl, you can sing. It's like,
Yeah,
what? You don't tell me that and expect me not to pass out, you
totally. I'm
know?
passing out for you.
Right. And so Kesha, Mariah Carey was probably like the biggest shocker. Like that one was very unexpected because I put
Hmm.
that out on the strength of, let's just see what it does. Because she's not obviously an EDM artist. So
Right.
I was a little nervous with that one. And then within like a day or two, I saw this comment, "This is amazing." I go, Mariah Carey saying, "I'm amazing."
Ah,
What?
well,
That
she has good taste.
clearly.
Clearly.
But it just, I was completely appalled by that, especially because one of my best friends, Tamira, shout out to you. That's her favorite artist. What Charlie means to us, probably what Prince means to me,
Hmm.
Mariah Carey means to her. So that was my biggest honor, especially because Tamira is the girl that's saying Eulonzo is my tag. Eulonzo, that's the girl.
Oh my
So
God.
yes, she is such a queen.
An
I highly
icon.
recommend people follow her. And the fact that like Mariah Carey was able to reconnect us in such a way, that honestly got me super emotional at the time. It
It's
was
so
just such a
cool.
whirlwind, you know. And then of course, curveballs happen, losing my Instagram and Facebook around that same time, which
Ah,
was so like a low blow, like a gut punch. Because, like I said earlier, I've been on the internet for so many years. So I've had a lot of the same accounts for like, I'm pretty sure my Twitter's probably old enough than half the TikTok at this point. So,
totally.
like, I've been around for so long. So that was such a low blow. But I was just so thankful that I had friends around me that were like, look, you have brighter things ahead of you. I know this sucks, losing all those photos, all those videos,
No, it
and things like that.
sucks.
But, there are greater things. And if it wasn't for those people in my life, they know who they are. Like, I would not be holding it together the way I am today because that was just to go from Mariah Carey to losing my accounts to this
Ah,
person. It's just like, what is going on?
yeah, the
Like,
whiplash is real.
it was such a whiplash of a summer.
Well, what the fuck happened? So you had a following on Instagram and
Correct.
Facebook, so like the metaverse, if you will, and then it just like was gone for no fucking reason.
Yes, because AI Meta, they
Oh,
have this AI bot apparently where they're flagging accounts. Say like you post a picture of yourself in like a bra or something skimpy or like a childhood photo, they're
yeah.
gonna think, oh, it's CSA or whatever. And
Uh-huh.
it's just like, but it's a photo of me. It's just me. You know what I mean? And it's been happening to like thousands upon thousands of accounts. And I
Oh
guess I
my
was just one of
God.
thousands. It was one of those situations where you don't know it's happening until it happens to you, sort of thing.
That's so
And I figured,
frustrating.
well, maybe I'll get it back and then get a verified check mark. But even then, when you talk to human support under a blue check mark, they 9 times out of 10 give you the sorry, there's nothing we can do for you, da 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 da. If it was against the guidelines, then it was for good reason. And so since then, I've just been having to make like a new account. I've had the same account since August or July. So I'm good
Uh-huh.
now, I
Yeah.
think. Knock on wood.
Yeah, knocking
But
on
I
everything.
was just literally like, what is going on? But it's because Facebook and Instagram merging. The moment that happened, I knew
Fucked everything.
things like this were going to fuck up a lot of businesses. I know close friends that have like 100,000 followers, the blue check mark, the whole nine. So you would think, okay, nothing's gonna happen with them. 3 days later, I'm like, where are you? Like, did you block me or something? Obviously, their account got taken down.
What the
And it's like
fuck?
things like that, whether it's someone as small as me or someone as big as them, this could happen to literally anybody. I don't know if it's calmed down, but this is just the age of the internet,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Meta is so Mark Zuckerberg and everything he does is so whack in so many ways.
Thank you.
It's extremely frustrating. Everyone follow Eulonzo. We'll say this multiple times, but all of your socials are going to be in the show notes. So everyone give him a
Thank you so
follow.
much.
That's
Thank
so
you so
frustrating
much.
though, of course. And it's hard too as a creative because the internet in some ways is such a magical tool as a creative wherever
Yes,
you live to like put yourself out there and get people to know you and your work. And then the flip side
absolutely.
of that, the frustrating flip side is that something as dumb as like an AI robot flagging your account for an incorrect reason could feel like a professional setback. Like
Yes.
it's a lot to emotionally carry.
Yes. And I'm someone that does not handle emotions very well. Men in general don't know how to do that perfectly, but I'm
It's
just one of
hard.
the few that can actually admit that. And so when that happened, I had quite the drink that night.
Yeah, I would crash out
And I'm
for
not someone
sure.
that's a drinker like that, but
Yeah.
I
You
had
said
to.
you said I have to take this edge off. By the way, literally one of my questions for you is like since you're a 365 party boy and I'm a 365 party girl, what is your drink of choice?
Hmm. Oh Lord, that's like asking me my favorite child.
I know.
Ooh, that's hard.
No, honestly, same.
um, I do like a cocktail, a key
Okay.
lime cocktail. That's
Mm,
probably my go-to, to be honest with you.
refreshing.
Hmm.
I love that.
I like a refresher.
Okay, so nothing too like heavy. Like you're not gonna have like a maple whiskey old fashioned. You'll be having like a
Once in a while, I might have that, but it
hmm
depends because I'm a very skinny individual. So, like, when it
yes.
comes to alcohol, yeah, I can be a lightweight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hit you. I can hit you. And then you're full 365 party boy on another level.
Yes, and then I'll end up looking like you in that one TikTok.
Oh my God. I'm like literally which one where I'm fucked up?
Yes.
Do you have a dream collab, like an artist that you would dream of collaborating with on music?
Good question. Because one of my best friends, Brandon, and well, two of my best friends, Brandon and Anna, well, I'm sure they're listening to this. I watched them get married from
Oh,
uh, online. They literally got married in Italy last year, which is kind
so
of funny considering what
romantic.
just happened to Charlie and George.
I literally was about to be like, fall in love again and again.
Right. They asked me that a few weeks ago, and I was like low key stumped. And because for me, like I would say Charlie, but that's a little too easy to say. I would
Sure.
love to do something with her. I would love to do something with Kesha, especially because like me and Brie have loved her since we were like literal children. To
Yeah.
oh 09, we are '09 babies as far as Kesha
Yes.
goes. So I would love to work with Kesha. Lady Gaga,
Mm.
absolutely. Lady Gaga was my first vinyl. Okay, I was 15 years old and I bought Born This Way.
Ah.
And my mom was like, "Are you crazy? Because like going to Hot Topic just for Born This Way." Oh, absolutely. I sure did.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's like a collector's item now.
I was that boy. I was that boy coming up. Period.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Okay, those are truly, I mean, I dream of you. We're going to manifest that you're going to collaborate with all of them, but like that's like my dream blunt rotation and I don't even really smoke.
Well, they're my blunt rotation, and I do smoke.
Yeah. You like gardening as you put it. Um so wait, so you've been online since 2006, but when did you actually start creating music?
I started creating music in 2009, 2010.
Okay.
I was about 13, 14 years old, which is jarring to say out loud. Wow.
Amazing.
But I basically started just doing amateur just beats and things like that, recording on GarageBand like most kids do today.
Totally.
Of course, there's so much more resources for them now versus back then. But and me and my best friend Jarrett, Boy Chad on Instagram, basically a lot of us were kind of like a small circle. I was basically the introverted boy from upstate New York, and Jarrett, Kenny, he, and all my friends, they all lived in LA. And so we just all
Wow.
connected from YouTube because I'm also a OG YouTuber as well from
Ah,
2007.
I love
So
that.
yeah, there's so much like deep lore about me that like Wayback Machine probably can't keep up with.
I was gonna say the lore goes crazy.
It does. It really does. And so I started making music basically 15, 16 years ago. Um, and I've been doing everything from trap, 80s, EDM. Uh, there kind of isn't a genre I can't do at this point because it's
Hmm.
basically all I do. I don't really watch or binge anything. I don't really like doom scroll too much. This is basically all I do, as boring as that is.
No, that's amazing. I have a question for you actually,
Yes.
piggybacking off of that. Like I find sometimes as a content creator, there are certain creators who I like deeply love their content and for that
Hmm.
reason, I can't follow them because otherwise I'll get in my head about like damn, I wish I could do what they do instead of just focusing on like my like staying in my lane. Do
Yeah.
you ever experience that as a musician, just like producers or people where you're like I really love what they do, but I can't actually think about that right now. I have to stay in my own lane?
Yes and no. I do in the sense that I don't really like listen to other people or
Yeah.
like stay too glued to what they're doing. Um, I've done a lot of like 80s material over the last 5 to 10 years, and like I've had so like the amount of kids that have told me like I'm the reason that they started getting into synth wave or whatever, and that
Oh,
means the world. But
so
I don't
cool.
listen to a lot of what they're doing because I end up seeing like, okay, well, how are they doing this? And I've just always been focused on my own lane and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that my style and my stuff is a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I pay attention to what everyone's doing. Like, oh, who's this coming up? Who's this up and coming? Who's mainstream right now?
Sure.
Who's maybe hot in the underground scene? But for me, like, I always tell people, like, don't get too worried about what they're doing over there and worry about what you're doing here because it's
Totally.
very easy to do, especially when you haven't completely found yourself yet, you know? So
Yes.
but I'm someone that's kind of always known who I am since I was like super young, for better or worse. I mean,
Totally.
a lot of it has been the reason why it's taken me this long to blow up, but also look at Charlie.
100%. She's the blueprint.
I always look at her as the blueprint and Prince as the purple print. But
Yeah.
just
The,
saying.
the purple print. Purple Rain was a really early sexual awakening for me. I remember watching that movie and being
I
like, this is
mean,
the hot.
period.
Literally, Eulonzo's wearing a Purple Rain shirt right now.
I
It's
mean, period.
like I was watching the J-Lo documentary recently about that movie that she fully financed herself that was completely unhinged and she compared it to Purple Rain and I was like, "Babe, I'm going to have to stop you right there. This is nothing like what Purple Rain was with Love and
Facts.
Light. Like, please."
With love and light, don't do that to yourself, J Lo. You already do enough to yourself. With all due
Exactly.
respect.
God, she doesn't make it easy on herself. I got to be honest.
Well, your
Uh,
boy Ben Affleck did the right thing.
he, he dodged I think he dodged a bullet a little bit. He's just
Let
said,
me interview you for a second. What is this Ben Affleck lore? I'm curious to know. I am like really invested in this.
oh my God, that's so nice of you to ask. I have always thought he was hot, but then Jake was out of town for like a month working, and I forget like what the gateway was. But I was like watching something or I saw something on TikTok. I don't know. I'm such like an overstimulated individual. Like I'm so chronically online. But I remember just being like, fuck, he's so hot. Like I
Period.
wanna, yeah, I was just like, he's so hot. I wanna like see what he's up to, like watch some of his early movies that I've never seen. And then with Jake out of town and me just being like bored and alone, I
Right.
just like binge watched his movies and I was like, fuck, he's so hot. And then
Period.
like, and then I just like deep dived into like, or deep dove, if you will, into his lore, which like he is also an imperfect person. I'm not going to put him on a pedestal,
Right.
but I do think there is a level of self awareness there that I can appreciate. I think if you're a self aware person, in
I
my
love
book,
self-aware people.
you can get away with a lot if you're self aware in my book because I'm like, at least I don't have to tell you that you're being a fucking idiot. You already know. And you can
Facts.
apologize before I even have to ask you to.
Literally. And even the interviews I've seen of Ben Affleck, I'm just like, there's just something so, this is a word that a lot of kids don't use. There's a lot of nonchalant energy with him. He's
Yes.
just kind of very like, he just doesn't really give a fuck too much.
Doesn't give a
And
fuck.
that's why I've kind of always respected him as an actor. Even when he played Batman, as much as people did not like Batman versus Superman, myself included,
Yeah.
kind of a waste of my IMAX money, but he still killed
100%.
it.
Yeah, he did his best. I mean, nothing can compare to the Christian Bale Batman trilogy, but like, that's okay. So, back to what you were saying about how you've always known who you are and you can stay
Yes.
in your lane. So you never really have imposter syndrome? Or if you do, how do you kind of recenter yourself?
Um, I feel like anytime I've had imposter syndrome, I've always either had somebody being like, is it just me or are you kind of acting like this? And as much as my
Mm,
ego would get upset at hearing these things, my center would always be like, well, maybe they're just doing the right thing for you. Maybe they're just trying to make you remember who you are, type
yeah.
of thing. And for me, that's always kept me centered. I've had a lot of influences over the years of my career. I've always said if there wasn't Timbaland, there would not be Eulonzo. I've always
Uh,
said that since day one. So much of my humble beginnings started from him, Prince
yeah.
as well, Michael Jackson as well. So much of my catalog started with him. And,
It's
over
amazing.
those years, I've had a lot of, questioning and conflict and hesitance. But, when it comes to imposter syndrome, it's one of those things where you have to catch it before it like really eats you alive.
So
Because
true.
I feel like the older you get, the more difficult it is to really, acknowledge that,
Yeah.
because that's the thing about the brain. Yeah, the brain and ego, it can really clash. And it's like I've had a lot of men in my life that I've had to cut off
Yeah.
that have not known how to do that, unfortunately. And I strive to not be that.
That's no, that's such a good point. I do think it's yeah, exercising that muscle, being able to catch yourself when the imposter syndrome is getting loud and being like, okay, time to kind of bring it back in and
Yes.
being surrounded by people who can check you in a loving way. I mean, there were so many
Yeah.
times even with podcasting where people would be like, "Oh my God, you're a ripoff of this person, you're a knockoff of this person." And it's like as a creative, it's so not intentional, but you're going to have your influences either way. And it's like,
Yeah.
I think if you're not a creative person, it's easy to like default to that as opposed to like just kind of what you were just talking about, like figuring out like what you like and what your voice is in that space and
Yeah.
like taking your inspirations, but then also using those to kind of carve out like your own creative voice.
Yeah. And that's how I felt with Prince for so much of my life because I have constantly had parallels with him having a deep voice and him being very like mysterious and by himself in the corner. He
Yes,
he kind of was always giving that dude in class that plays the guitar. That's who
totally.
Prince very much was. And that's who I was growing up. And, in my 20s, I've learned how to like find the differences between me and him
Mm-hmm.
before the imposter syndrome ended up like reverting back, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very easy for that to happen. And there were friends in the recent years that would bring it up to me, being like, is it just me? And then I would be like, I would get upset at first
Yeah.
because, like you said, it's unintentional, but words and tone are very important to me.
So
Like,
true.
how it's not just what you say, it's how you say it,
Totally.
and you never know what someone's going through. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that those people were able to be real with me because otherwise, you never know. You really
No,
don't.
so true. And I think it's like it's such a catch 22 also because if someone comes to you and they're like, "Hey, like I just want to make sure that you're like fully being yourself right now." Then it's one of those things where like if you overthink it, you're like, "What even is myself?" And you can get really
Yeah.
existential and be like, "But wait, like I don't know. I feel like it's like I always know I'm in a flow state creatively when I'm not overthinking like am I
Yeah.
taking this influence from this person or am I being myself? Like you're just in flow with the thing you're doing and you're not in your head too much. But
Yes.
it's also as a creative, you're going to have moments where like you're in that flow state and then other moments where you're like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. And like,
Facts.
and you're just going to try and pull something out of nothing. And also with the acceptance that like, I might hate how this turns out, but I just need to like keep this discipline up and keep this thing going
Yeah.
so that my creative muscles are like always working.
Yeah. I got to keep the train going. Otherwise, I'm going to
Yeah,
get too comfortable.
totally.
I'm going to get too comfortable. And, it's very difficult for me to be close with people who get comfortable
Yeah.
with just being complacent. I'm someone that's constantly wanting more out of whatever I'm doing. And so for me, it's like if I see people struggling, and it's okay. People have longer roads than or shorter roads than others. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't I don't judge people who, you know, don't have it all figured out yet. But to me, like as someone that knows the path that he wants to go, I can't be too comfortable for too long. Otherwise you get stagnant.
100%. I mean, I do find that too. Like you said you're like approaching 30. I feel like in my early 30s, I really got to a point where it wasn't even conscious, but the friends that I have left
Mm,
and even like professional people, like contacts that I really enjoy, it's always people who are like highly self-motivated and ambitious and don't and like curious also
facts.
about who they are, why they do the things they do, personal growth, creative process, like all of the above. Like those
Yeah,
are that energy like is so magnetic and like turns me on so much as a creative
facts.
and as a person that like you being around it only helps you in your own ego or all of the above.
Because then you get inspired by each other,
Exactly.
and I prefer being around people that inspire me, whether it's
Mhm.
directly or indirectly. A lot of times it's indirectly, like they don't even
Mhm.
realize that they're inspiring me for songs like the Hot Girl remix, which is going to come out this week. Like you inspired that in a lot of
Ah,
ways, like it's funny because I already done Hot Girl before, but when I found you on TikTok and then I was going through your playlist and the amount of times you say Hot Girl, I was like, this is just calling my name at this
oh
point.
my God. Eulonzo,
And
I'm
then
so honored.
so I had to do that. Like to me, I've always been able to express myself through music. When I love and respect people, I'm always going to show it through music.
That's
I'm
so
not someone,
sweet.
oh my God, I made this for you. I I've never been that type of person, but when it comes to
Mhm.
music, I'm gonna always show love through that, you know.
Thank you
So
so much. That's so
I cannot
meaningful.
wait to put that out.
I can't wait for it to be out in the world. Speaking of showing your love through music, you kind of mentioned that this time of year is
Yes,
significant and important for you. Are you comfortable talking about that a little bit? Would you like
correct.
to?
Absolutely. Yeah, to me the fall for the last I'd say 6 years, it's been a very like lethargic time.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a lot of people that have followed me or the people in my life, one of my closest friends, Ashley Parsons specifically, she had died by suicide. What was it, October 3rd or 4th of 2019?
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my best friend Bree, who was her roommate, shout out to Bree, we were kind of like a small circle. I started working with Ashley at my old job, my first and only job, because
Oh,
I'm not a 9 to 5 person, to be honest.
they're
But
horrible.
I met her in 2015, just 4 days after a house fire, which was crazy to me. The fact that I was still working despite that, and people didn't even know until they saw it on the news. Like
Oh my
I
God.
showed up for work, and they were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" Trying to act like, And so Ashley started working with me that same week, and we became immediate fast friends. She would always push me to put out my music, always pushing me to just do me and be me. Same with pushing Bree as well. I also reconnected with Bree through Ashley, which is kind of wild to me
Yeah.
because, like I said, me and Bree went to school together. So we are childhood friends since day one. And then fast forward, Ashley commits suicide. What was it? October 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It completely changed our lives, especially Bree, who lived with her.
Oh,
Um, I've done a lot of. She was 22 years old as well, so she would be the same age as me today.
mm-hmm.
Um, I've done a lot of tributes to her. I did a Joker short film because she loved Harley Quinn and I loved the Joker, so I did that. So because I'm also an actor, which is weird to just throw out there.
Okay, multi-hyphenate.
But I did that. I put her in a lot of my songs, including the Dread remix, which is one of
Mm-hmm.
my biggest ones out there in the clubs right now, which is
So
like
cool.
just completely. I was telling Rose last night, people don't know how poetic and eerie it is to have her voice on there forever. And the
Oh,
fact that people know that story now, especially given what Charlie's gone through with Sophie as well,
right.
very, very identical to what me and Bree went through with Ashley years ago. And so, yeah, October is always a very like lethargic month,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I plan to go hard this month because, it's what the queen would want as far as I'm concerned. She was a big fan of like Billie Eilish, Kesha, like she was very much the original hot girl.
Hell yeah.
So, and it's just unbelievable what death can kind of do as far as your trajectory in your life and like
Right.
pushing you to finally tap into who you are, like the ripple effect it can cause.
Right. I mean, because first of all, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and obviously I'm sending you and Ashley and Bree all the good vibes this month and always. It is amazing how, well, a couple things. How it's beautiful that you can memorialize her through your music, and that you can kind of honor her in that way, and also that she inspired you to keep going even when she was still with us, and the fact that now she gets to continue to kind of propel you and your artistry forward in this way is like really beautiful and amazing, even though I'm so sorry that she's gone.
Yeah. And like we said earlier about COVID and how much the world has changed, she did that. What was it? The world shut down, I think, March 2020. So that was
Mhm.
like 4 months before the whole world changed. So she wasn't
God.
even around when all that stuff was happening, let alone what's going on with me today in my career. So it's just wild to have so much of the world changing with her not here. But I've always told people when it comes to death, y- it's always about how you react to it.
Yeah.
And for me, I didn't crawl in a hole and just disappear into the void when it happened. And it was very easy to do because it was a very ugly situation what happened.
Hmm.
But all me and Brie could do was just keep going. And I'm also very proud of her for how far she's come. She's not deep on the internet like that. She's been on my TikToks before, as much as she
Hmm.
loves and hates that.
Hmm.
But it's like to me, um, I've always felt her with me. Even last night when I was just outside chilling, just listening to the Brad album, because when do I not listen to that?
Of course.
It's just, yeah, yapping aside, I don't know. It means the world that she lives despite not physically being here
Yeah.
because it's been such a surreal time for all of us that knew her.
Yeah.
Like people don't know what Charlie's went through as far as losing Sophie and all of the whole PC music world.
Hmm.
What Sophie meant to people like me, even. I mean, Sophie paved the way for even someone like me. And so, to kind of feel what Charlie felt
Yeah.
and to even sit here and talk about it is just unbelievable.
I'm happy that she was able to inspire you to share your music and that you can continue to honor her and her memory by putting music out and following your own creative joy, and that you can feel her with you. I so believe in spirituality and feeling our lost loved
Yes,
ones with us.
I feel, girl, you're
You
preaching to
fucking
the choir.
know.
You're preaching to the choir because Rose, like, I'd say, like, the night that Mariah Carey played my track at the VMAs, which was completely wild,
Crazy.
by the way. A quick story time with that. I was
Yeah.
literally at the kitchen table and like my phone was blowing up, which I'm half used to because of TikTok and the alerts I get.
Yeah.
And I was getting Mariah Carey, are you watching the VMAs? I go, I don't watch TV, not to sound like a 40-year-old, but I do not.
You're like, I literally don't.
I don't really watch the award shows. I don't know what happened at the Oscars this year. So like I'm terrible at that stuff.
Yeah.
And Mariah, she used your stuff. Mariah who? What?
I don't know her.
Excuse me. I don't know her. I don't know her. And so I watched the YouTube clip and I was like, oh my God, that's literally my track. That's
So
my
incredible.
remix. Now, I did know from her team, like not to get too info dumb, I did know that they were going to use it. I did not know it was going to be at the freaking MTV Awards.
That's so crazy.
That was absolutely insane. Like, just wild to me. But Rose texted me being like, I feel like this is Ashley throwing a mirror in front of you, being like, hello, this is what you've been trying to do all these years. Well, now look.
Hell yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I feel that. And that literally had me emotional when she texted me that because it's wild, especially given the time right now.
No, it's so true. I really also think the timing of those things, like when you feel that that person on the other side is like reaching out to you in some profound way like that, I feel like you owe it to yourself to like take that moment and be like, I know this is her. I know she's showing me something. I know that I need to keep like walking in my truth and my creativity and just see where it goes, both for yourself and to honor her memory. I mean, how incredible.
Yeah, and I used to not be that way. I was always like, okay, like those people that go, oh my God, I saw a bird with
Yeah,
them speaking to me. But I really understand it more as I've gotten older because to me, spirits speak, as cliche as that
I
is. They
agree.
really do.
I
They
agree.
really do.
After I lost my mom, I became so fucking woo woo. I was like, it's a hummingbird. It's a message. She stole my sweater. And like, I do believe
Real
all those
talk.
things. I'm not even making fun of myself. Like, it's so real.
Yes,
It's
I
important.
feel that. That's me
Um,
when I lost my dad as well.
oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I know
Hot
there's
girl, hot boy. Listen, we've gone through shit.
hot people.
That's the moral of the story.
The hottest people have been through the most fucked up things. I don't make the rules.
That's a
I literally,
fact.
it's just the facts. Like, I don't know what else to say. If you could go back, I have two more questions for you, but the first one
Yes.
is if you could go back earlier in your career, you could meet your younger
Mm.
self and give him some advice or words of wisdom, what would you say?
That is a good question considering this picture that is right here at my desk,
Oh my God.
which is me and Ashley. Actually, this
Oh
was
my
us
God.
the day of the Super Bowl. What was it? The Super Bowl 2016. Um she was talking about her one night stand and our manager was looking at us like, why are you talking about this at work? That's the kind of person Ashley was.
Hell yeah, I love her.
Uh
She was a 365 party girl.
She was. If I were to ask that guy, like, how he would feel today, I would probably tell him no different than what I would tell myself today, and that's to just keep going.
I love that.
Continue being that stubborn bug that you've always been, because to me, stubbornness can be a pro and a con, but I focus on the pro when it comes to it. Being stubborn in believing yourself, it can take you to a lot of places. And I tell so many of these kids, especially on TikTok, I could probably do a whole hour on marketing. And
You
like
should.
I've told people like when I retire, I'm being a freaking marketer because there are some of these kids out here that literally make me want to pull my hair out when it comes to how much potential they have in their hand and they're just wasting it all. I'm not going to name names, but
Yeah.
it's just like I just want to see everybody win, but all I can do is just focus on me winning. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And cheering the people on, including yourself, who are also winning.
And
Because
you winning.
rest assured, in the late 2020s, this podcast gonna be one of the hottest ones. Pun
Oh,
intended.
you're so sweet. Thank you. You winning does inspire other people to win. And I think that that's amazing advice to just be stubborn and be like whoever you are, whatever you're working on, be like a dog with a bone when it comes to the shit that you want and do not fucking let go. Because I
Absolutely.
literally saw this on TikTok the other day. If it is like a nagging feeling, if it's on your heart, if you see it in your head all the time, this thing you want, it's because there's a future version of you that already has it. So you just have to keep going.
Yes. Yes, you have to.
Yeah, you must. And also, it's like just becoming friends with you online has been so refreshing and so wonderful for me because it's also like there's so many people online who look at any sort of success with such a scarcity based mindset. And I think
Yes.
it's been so refreshing to just be able to like hype each other up on social and be like, when you win, I win. Let's fucking
Facts.
hype each other up and go because it's like, it makes it a lot more fun to be able to connect and find that community. But B, it's like there's enough for everyone, and we all have different. As cheesy as it sounds, in Kumbaya, we all have different gifts. We all have different vibes. Like there's space. People need
Absolutely.
it. You know?
Absolutely. And it's okay to have fear, but you have to be unafraid. Jennifer Lewis told me that.
Oh,
Being unafraid is one of the most important things you can do in any field that you're in. It's okay to get nervous. It's okay to
hmm
have anxiety. Who doesn't have anxiety at this point? Dochi.
totally.
But
Hello.
for me, you have to be unafraid because otherwise you're going to hold yourself back.
It's so true. You can't let the fear like stop you from moving forward.
Yeah, you can.
My last question for you is there a world in which you could have a Eulonzo rave where you DJ a rave and we all go and
Mm,
dance? Because that's my dream.
hmm. Well, we are definitely in the process of that right now. To be fully transparent, I am going to buy a DJ controller this month, and
I'm
probably
freaking out.
before this year ends or into 2026, I will be doing shows,
I'm
which
freaking
is
out.
kind of terrifying, but exciting at the same time. Because it's funny because I've been DJing without the board and all of that. It's
Yeah.
almost like a basketball player balling without the hoop, you know? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, so it's going to be a very interesting transition. But I'm very excited for it because I already have so much. I have 3 hard drives behind this desk here of music. And
Oh
so
my God.
it's just a matter of like, what the hell do I play once I get this thing? I'm honestly like scared and excited, terrified, the whole nine. Like
Oh my
it's
God.
I feel like a kid in a candy store, the idea of doing this.
Play all of it, play everything. I literally like, I am so excited because like truly my dream, I was just saying this to someone a few weeks ago about live music. I was like, if I could go to a rave just knowing that Eulonzo was going to DJ, I would go. But I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go to listen to just any DJ because I'm annoying about the aux and I like to know that I'm going to like the music. But I know
And
that I love your music.
you want to know what's hilarious about you saying that? I have not been to a rave since probably before the summer because of this reason.
Yes.
It's so weird to go to other people's shows now, knowing, it's so weird. I was just at a rave like Saturday night and I had a great time,
Yeah.
but it was just so like the urge to go up to the booth and be like, and it's funny because Bree looked at me being like, you want to. I'm like, I do, but I'm not going to make a scene. Like,
Totally. You're like, put me in, coach. I can do this. I got it. That's so exciting. I'm just imagining you like playing all these shows, like you like playing like parties at Coachella, like the hottest events that everyone wants to go to. It's just, I just can't wait.
yes. And it's funny because like I was listening to Jack Harlow, who I'm not a fan of, but there's this one song he did with Drake, and he said, before I met Drake, I knew he and I would get along. Before I met Hannah, I knew she and I would get along. But it's hard to crack jokes when you want advice. And that's kind of how I feel because I feel like there's certain things I could learn from you that I probably would not be able to learn from anybody else. So there's some things we got to discuss after this, girl.
We do offline, and I feel the exact same way about you. This has truly been just
Real talk.
the best. Thank you so much for chatting with me and for being here today. Will you let my listeners know where they can find you and plug all the things, and it will all be in the show notes too?
Hey, Les girl, just saying. So I am Eulonzo on Twitter. I am Eulonzo with 2 underscores on Instagram. Having 2 underscores just feels so dirty, but blame Meta for that. Of course, Eulonzo on TikTok, EULONZO. Not Alfonso, not Lorenzo. I have had such a thing with that for almost 19 years.
That's annoying.
People not knowing how to say my name. So be grateful for the name Hannah.
Oh my God. I'm like, come on, people, get it together.
Right. So, but that's where you all can find me. And of course, musically, SoundCloud/Eulonzo.
Yes.
That is the home where a lot of my stuff is, as well as my YouTube channel, Eulonzo. We're trying to curate that as best as we can. I'm a leaky faucet with music, so making music every day, it's very difficult to upload things every day. So
that's
okay.
But
we'll get that together.
Oh my gosh, literally take your time. You have so much music out there and it's all just like banger after banger after banger. So everyone follow Eulonzo on everything. Check out his music. You will not be disappointed. I am telling you, like the best going out music, the best hot girl walk music. Like there's just, the limit does not exist as to where and how you can ingest these tunes. I'm not kidding you.
Absolutely. And make sure to follow this hot girl. Hello.
Oh my God, stop. You're so sweet. You guys, follow me at Hannah Aaron Brown if you don't already. If you love this podcast, leave it a rating and a review. Share this episode with a friend. Thank y'all for listening. Eulonzo, thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. And tell a friend to tell a friend.
Exactly. Love y'all and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.